Now, in this lesson from the book of the Essence, this lesson super interesting and it has on deep truth. Because recently, I get a lot of revelation on the problems in our society, and me here to address them. Right? Me have to speak, me have to talk about them. So we go talk about a problem in our society where most people they see them talk about, but they don't really they fully understand why this problem occurs, right? And the Bible, God's word, already land us the solution. So we're to talk about the problem in the way how the country is run, right? Because lo and behold, we get a revelation, right? It's like one time I listened to people talk and it finally clicked. So when people talk about politicians, right, then be like, oh, when they talk about politics, as soon as they hear the word politics, it literally trigger the next word, next following thing will come to your mind, a corruption. Now, people look upon that and say, oh, yeah, man, every politician corrupt, politician a corruption system, blah, 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 blah. That's what they think. That's what they think, Now, because they're not sitting on the world so mates, right? Because they're not sitting and really understand, say, the politicians where them are talk about corrupt, the politicians where them are talk about the whole system rigged and all them something. These are the people we're in control. Like I think people sitting and fully understand, say, the connotation in your mind. You don't realize that the people them in control are corrupt. Now, you safe with that? People comfortable with that, People just walk up on them while in there and say, yeah man, politician them corrupt, yeah, while them corrupt, while them wicked, blah blah blah. But that type people them in control. You see me? Like them literally in control. And them are govern the system, them are set the rules, them are do all these things. And you are comfortable with that. Now, we see on the world mids, and the Heavenly Father give me this revelation upon a scripture as to why this thing is a play. So we go first explain, we go first show you scripturally why this is the case. And there's nothing new under the sun. And then go show you the solution, because in a God's word there is solution to every single problem under the sun. So this is Ecclesiastes chapter 10 and verse 5 to 7. It says, there is something distressing that I have seen under the sun, the sort of mistake made by those in power. Foolishness is put in many high positions, but the rich remain in low positions. I have seen servants on horseback, but princes walking on foot, just like servants. So, we need to understand this. Right? Let me break this down to you. So, you must say this is one distressing thing will take place under the sun. King Solomon write about this thousands of years ago. You must say, those in power, right? Now, in a Jamaica democracy, how it works, I say the people have the power. People vote for who they want to run their country, right? That's how it works. So, we are the people in power, right? Now, foolishness, though we are the people make a mistake, right? We put foolishness in high position. So we know certain people are corrupt, right? We know certain people are not good. I know say what they must say a lie, but we vote for them because the only two candidates them did it. You just say which one of them they'll tell the less lie. You see me? Or sometimes you just try out this one. You say this one I tell someone lie, we'll try this one. You see me? So and that's what happened right now. Literally the system is so corrupt where people just they just choose something new. They just choose whichever new one. They literally in your head where you put foolishness in a high positions. Like people sit down, everybody just understand. Say, yeah, man, the system corrupt, and they're just comfortable. They're just comfortable. That make just can't understand how they're comfortable. When I start get old and realize, whoa. I said the system really set. Isn't it like everybody comfortable with corruption? Like everybody is comfortable with it. That don't make no sense. And then he says, I have seen servants on horseback. The servants that horseback that are high position, right? Them are the commanders, right? So servant that means that in their heart, them really supposed to be down. Like they're not supposed to be the one in control. But then say princes walking on foot. So princes, those are the people who actually supposed to take the lead. Them are servants. They must serve. So say for example, you have a business and the CEO, our alcoholic gambler, right? Him not supposed to be in that position there, but because my father when own the business, him just hand it over to this man. But then like the princes, the people them will like actually can do the work and get the job done. Them people that serve him. You see me? I call him the boss when him supposed to be film servant. So that's literally how he explain. So yeah, I wonder, Jay, what is the solution? I'm gonna go here to explain to you the solution. You see, the solution is the church. Because people don't understand that God, Jesus Christ come with God's kingdom. Kingdom is a government. The church is a government. The word church actually is ecclesias, right? And that means our political assembly. Literally, research that word. It was never supposed to be a place where you just a sing, clap your hand, praise and all this. And that was supposed to be politics. You see me? That's what they're supposed to discuss. Politics. You see me? How to govern the place. So listen to how, and I listen to how Apostle Paul went tell Timothy and Titus how to select politicians. Amen. You see me? No, people don't understand that. People hear about the church, the rules of the church, right? And because they take God's way, Christians, and take Christians and then turn it into a religion, right? Religion is part of the kingdom, right? Every kingdom may have priests, but that never the main focus. Because them take that separate thing and turn it into the main focus, the whole thing become a religious organization now. So everybody then change the names and different rules. So people think say Apostle Paul, right? When you're in the right, you think them create names like you have bishop, you have pastor, and deacons, right? Now, we need to understand that in a no kingdom, no part of the Bible, no way in the Old Testament, you ever hear about a pastor, a deacon, or a bishop. They don't exist in the Old Testament. So where they get these things from, right? It come from the religion. When they create religion out there now, when they translate the Bible, they create some religious names. This was not the case. Now, in this, we're going to read 1 Corinthians, 1 Timothy chapter 3 and verse, and listen, just listen to you the three, when you go to do your research and understand like what the name they mean from when you translate them from the Greek. So you have the first one, overseer, right? Go probably I'll put this on the board. Do like a writing for you. So the first position in the 1 Timothy chapter 3, you have overseer, right? Overseer. Now, this is also sometimes people take that as a religious position. It's a 1 Timothy chapter 3 and verse 1. It says, if a man is reaching out to be an overseer, he is desirous of a fine work. Now, the overseer should, this is verse 2 now. It says, the overseer should be an irreprehensible man. It should be irreprehensible, a husband of one wife, moderate in habits, sound in mind, orderly, hospitable, qualified to teach, not a drunkard, not violent, but reasonable, not quarrelsome, not a lover of money. Right? We'll just stick a pin right there. So that last part is hyper important. So this is one politician, this is one political role you might get, right? And this is supposed to be an overseer. So if just where we just stick a pin. You say irreprehensible. That means say you have your reputation spotless, right? Then you can't call your name say, hey, it's such and such way, get charged with some form of things, or back in ideas and do some form of corrupt activity. So everybody will have like some bad scandal around their name, then we are disqualified from being a politician. Next, it's a husband of one wife, right? Cool. So they're married and they're honest with their wife. Moderate in habit, sound in mind, hospitable, qualified to teach, not a drunkard, not a violent man, reasonable. You see me? If you went literate and not a lover of money, you see all them money. No, me hear from the news and I talk about the Integrity Commission, a research, I do some investigation into some members of parliament who be some, and they can't explain how they get so wealthy so quick. You see me? Are these people violate that law where just say, hey, not a love of money? You see me? They have unexplained wealth. They just get wealthy so fast and you say unexplained wealth. But if they want to follow Apostle, if everybody want to follow what the Apostle Paul lay down for how politicians supposed to be, you know, those upon people who don't greedy for money and say, all right, and them people are the only ones that can come in. So we only need an integrity commission to investigate politicians. You see me how they get so rich? So the overseer, because these are all governmental rules. You have to understand the first government, Apostle Paul, when they explain to them how God or make Israel to operate. And now Israel got their, or we can say, how their structure. They understand the kingdom, a kingdom structure, because they dwell under Egyptian bondage. So they understand the kingdom from Egypt. So every position where Apostle Paul in the talk about, it must can be found in Egypt, in like because of that alone they would know about. So where you can find overseer. Now the first mention of the word overseer is Genesis 40. Overseers of Genesis 41 and verse 34. Genesis 41 and verse 34. Shows you want government position. So it says, This is when Pharaoh when get the dream about the famine, and then Joseph and the prophesy, and Joseph and explain the dream, etc. So this is what happened. It says, let Pharaoh take action and appoint overseers in the land, and he should collect 1/5 of the produce of Egypt during the 7 years of abundance. So right there, so in Egypt, they may have overseers. That was a governmental position. To be an overseer was a governmental position. So understand this. This found in a Genesis, the position of overseer, Genesis 41 and verse 34. And this is a governmental position found in Pharaoh's court. Now, the next thing when he talked about was when he talked to Titus. Apostle Paul wrote a letter to Titus, and they tell him about the elders. Now, it's very easy for Leo. It's a Titus chapter 1 and verse 5. It says, I left you in Crete so that you would correct the things that were defective and make appointments of elders in the city after city, as I instructed you. Now, you also say, if there is any man free of accusation, a husband of one wife, having believing children who are not accused of debauchery or rebelliousness. You see me? So, right out there, so this is how the elder is supposed to be, and this is another governmental position, right? Because in the Bible, it lists out so much times about city elders. You have city elders where they will go to with Ruth and Boaz, and then you have so much other examples of city elders. Now you go to Genesis, but if you can't find a fear of court, so you go to Genesis chapter 50 and verse 7, you find city elders. First mention first mention elders. So Genesis chapter 50 and verse 7, it says, so Joseph went up to bury his father, and all of Pharaoh's servants went with him, the elders of his court, and all the elders of the land of Egypt. So with that being said, you have city elders, right? So the city elders, these are another governmental elders, are another governmental position. Genesis 50 and verse 7, right? That's another governmental position. So now you understand, say God will want. This is how God want the country to run. This is never about one little group of people meet together and they just talk and they sing. Like that we take it and put on a religion on it, right? That's why the world now get better. Even though we have the solution in the book. The solution was so how God want the government to run. These are how politicians are supposed to be. This is how you're supposed to select a politician. You see me? That's just plain and simple. Now, you have also, you talk about ministerial servants or deacons, that in 1 Timothy chapter 3 and verse 12 and 13, it says, let ministerial servants be husbands of one wife, presiding in a fine manner over their children and their own household. For the men who minister in a fine manner are acquiring for themselves a fine standing and great freeness of speech in faith that is in Jesus Christ. So, and verse 8, it talks about ministerial servants should likewise be serious, not double-tongued, not indulging in a lot of wine, not greedy of dishonest gain, holding the sacred secret of the faith with a clean conscience. You see, this is a lot about the conduct, Well, we overlook that completely when you select politicians, right? Now, what is a ministerial servant or deacon, church helper? Well, the word, this word, diakonos is a Greek word, you see me? So the word diakonos, right? It literally means like servant or to serve, right? So I like one helper, exactly, like one helper. Now, how does this work? How this extrapolate in a Pharaoh's court or to the government? Well, in a Pharaoh's court or the government, when I do some research, man, I made study this with the Holy Spirit. You start guiding me around the Bible, and I say, yeah, man, I know the word exists. Like, we just gotta feel it in my spirit. So, how it work, is that in back then, they would have King Solomon went perfectly do it. In a First Kings chapter 5 and verse 16. When Solomon was building temple, he might select a group of people to operate as helpers, female helpers. Now we'll go read verse 16 so you can see it. So it says, so it says Solomon, verse 15, start off verse 15 and 16. It says, Solomon had 7,000 common laborers and Solomon had 70,000 common laborers and 80,000 stonecutters in the mountains, as well as Solomon's 3,300 princely deputies who served as foremen to supervise the workmen. You see me? So these princely deputies, those are or deputies, those are who was Solomon's helper and supervised the workmen, right? So a prince or princely deputies would that be what you consider to be a diocus, or that is their governmental position. Princely deputies or prince deputies. Now, how if you can find princes in Pharaoh's court, if you go to Genesis chapter 2, Genesis chapter 12 and verse 15. And it says, and verse 14 and 15 says, and as soon as Abram entered, as soon as Abram entered Egypt, the Egyptians noticed that the woman was very beautiful. And the princes of Pharaoh also saw her, and they began praising her to Pharaoh, so that the woman was taken to the house of Pharaoh. So right off there, so we learn that even at Pharaoh's court, they have princes. So, and these are when one governmental position, and these were the helpers of Pharaoh, then serve Pharaoh, them Pharaoh would have delegate them to handle different rules throughout in kingdom. So this is how a kingdom supposed to operate. This is how we're supposed to. You see all these rules where Apostle Paul lists out for the church, they were not, because the church was ecclesias, that it was a political assembly, not a religious assembly. You know, please, people may understand this is a kingdom. It is a kingdom, and a kingdom is a government. You see me? So this is how they were supposed to delegate those tasks. The elders, the overseers, they have specific how they were supposed to operate, right? They were supposed to be husband of one wife, irreprehensible. That means they have a good reputation and they don't accuse of anything. Even their children must be respectable. Doesn't mean their children are supposed to they do what is bad. They're supposed to be caught up in scandals. And these are and then there's supposed to be a love of money. You see me? Now, if you want to select all of your next politicians under that criteria, every member of parliament, every candidate, when supposed to be selected under the criteria laid out by Apostle Paul, right? Wouldn't we have a better place? Wouldn't we at least have a better country? Does it mean better governance? People always are complaining about politics and everybody corrupt, but it just don't make no sense because we are disobey God's law. We not live and we not practice it. God literally lay out plain and simple the solution, but we choose to disobey it and then we complain. So it's simple. If you want to solve all this politician, corrupt politics, this politics, that, all you have to do is just observe God's law and just hold the same standard where Apostle Paul said the politicians should be. And just like that, we'd have a far better society. So, with that being said, understand that the church is a political movement. The way it was a political movement, straight politics. But I know how people believe, say, Christians weren't politicians. You see me? Like, that is such a mental bondage. Like, such a mental bondage. But, yeah, so this is one lesson from the book of the essence. You know, it's enlightening, you know. So I understand, say, as a man, you're supposed to be a leader in the government. You're supposed to try to take up responsibility and govern your people through God's way. So, yeah, take care of yourself.